the thing about kicks, the higher you kick, the more chance you get of him grabbing it. And if he gets a hold of it, you're in trouble. So I think the safer kicks are to the knees, lower, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And I like the, you know, the tie. I shouldn't be doing that. But I like the lower leg kicks because they're safer and they hurt and they really can disable somebody.
You rear kick most of the time, and you're in a step, and then it's more of like a turn. So it'll be like, and you're pushing off of them basically. And you want to hit usually in the shin, and I mean it can be, you know, really fast, but that's more like a tie kick basically. Is they'll come
Using your shin.
Yeah, and it's all like the rotation, so it's almost like you're stepping, and then you're slinging the leg around, and then you do sort of connect it, and then push off of it a little bit, I would say. But and then the front kick, which I think is probably more useful for you, would be
Especially on the airplane.
you know, just basically because you can get it's still in the hips, but you can get a lot of range, but you know, it's almost like you're going to bring it up and then just push it out and push them back like that. And it's not, you don't have that. I mean, still, you can dig the toes in pretty hard to the gut, but you don't have like the whip of again. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to throw tie kicks too much.
Yeah.
Too old for that.
So how do you keep from breaking your toes on that front kick? Is there any
Probably
tricks?
I'm gonna have shoes on if I ever have to
Yeah,
use
that's
that.
true.
I'll have shoes on.
I mean, you're hitting them there mostly.
Just keep your toes up.
Yeah.
Keep
I mean,
your
if
toes
you're hitting them in the gut, you know, it's going to be like, you know, it's soft there, but like, I mean, you'll see, you know, it'll be front kicks to the face, and it's, you know, you're not typically hitting with the toes. You're hitting with, you know, like
the heel or the
ball of the toes.
yeah.
There mostly, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what about just would you do the knee kick from the side? Would you side kick the knee?
That's what I would say. Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Because I mean, you could do that, but yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot more range if you just come in and kick it.
Do you
to the
see?
side.
Basically, you're trying to hyperextend the knee,
Yeah.
and so it's a timing issue too. Like you're looking at their core, but you're looking at where they're stepping, and as they step and they have weight on it, that's when you go for the knee.
Yeah, and like I never felt like those kicks like John Jones would throw, where he's coming with the rear like that.
Yeah.
I guess you could do it,
You
but
gotta
to me,
you gotta have some footwork to do
you
things
got to
like
be
that.
pretty slick and long. So to me, I'm gonna do like a slide step to get that. 'Cause, I mean, it's just weird on your own hip even.
Yeah.
But if you hit somebody in the knee hard enough with that kick, they're not going to want to fight after that either.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to kill you.
True. Yeah.
That's a different story.
But that's the thing. Like, if you can get them in the solar plexus, even if they want to try to kill you, they probably aren't going to be able to.
Yeah.
And
So you
also, there's a nerve bundle, so not at the kneecap, but outside the knee. So as that thigh comes down, then that meat comes right before that kneecap.
Okay.
There's a nerve bundle right there, and if you hit that, then the leg
Just locks up.
like,
You get drop foot.
it's like if you turn the computer off, turn the power off. And I can't tell you how many fighters I've seen get hit, and all of a sudden they're just that. And they've still got the heart of a lion, but they've got the body of a.
Henry Cejudo and Mighty Mouse did that. He like got hit, and he's like stepping on his own toes because he is drop foot. He's kind of like
That's where you're going for.
So yeah, the key is the mistake I would make when I was doing the tie kicks is I'd end up kicking their ass. That doesn't do anything. You want to get that nerve bundle that he's talking about with that part of your shin because it's the longest part of the baseball bat, right? So if you get one of those there, you can knock them out. Like,
I mean, it's same also with the other way you can use the tie kick would be to come like
You just kick their knee.
just coming across like a baseball.
left to the liver.
Right across.
Yeah.
So you always, when you're up sideways, you always try to keep with the shin.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Going
I would say.
forward, you try to keep with your.
Do you mind holding
Yeah.
the pads for them to do some tie kicks?
I can go one.
Yeah. You really can't practice the front knee kick without.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
somebody,
you
but-
can, but you don't really need to because it's
Yeah.
You can do it with a, like a side
So
kick
you're
to
going-
the thigh.
So I'm gonna go front
But yeah, so
forward,
if you're gonna do a tie kick, yeah.
and I'm loading that leg up.
And the
if I
thing is,
come
you want to
around-
be up like on the toe here, so I'm like,
So I'm thinking about that foot is
it's
open.
gonna twist. It's gonna be like on a step.
Oh, I see.
And,
Yeah.
and because if you
I would
watch
say
people when
for
they
what you
throw a
guys
tie
are doing,
kick, if they miss,
Yeah. A regular
You should
tie
almost
fighter
spin a
just
360,
drop
yeah.
that hand to get more
Yeah.
power.
come
but
back
I think
around
for
if they miss,
self-defense,
because
it's
that's
always
what you should be doing each time.
It's what you
And so
can-
you're gonna like
what
step
can
yeah,
happen.
to there and you'd be
You know,
up on
like
the
you were
toe.
showing us bad things
which
that
will
can
let
happen.
I'm leaning, I
Whenever
feel like
we're
I'm leaning
grappling.
back when I shouldn't, right?
So
No,
if
not at
somebody
all. You
knows
should
what
be
you're
like,
doing, then as you throw that kick, they step inside.
and then like that. It'd be like a
And then
push off
we're
run
here.
like
Yeah,
and
you're-
shoving back away from
You're
it.
just finishing that kick up, and now they're ready to do whatever it is that they're gonna do.
So Javier, one of the things I said to
I'm
them
still leaning back.
is I would go ahead and keep your hands up. Even though
yeah.
in a TIE fighter can drop this and really get power, but
And-
you're not a TIE fighter, so
Do I
always
wanna
keep your
keep you
hands.
here?
You know what I'm saying?
Is that where I'm going?
Just
I'm
to have
probably
it,
connecting there.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
A little bit further back, maybe?
Yeah,
Farther back, right?
yeah, because you're gonna. A lot of times you'll step. You know, a little step in and over.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Your hands were up. Jonathan, you did a good job.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's getting low on your. I like the way it's down by your ankle bone. That looks good.
I'm just trying to put it on the right place.
Your hand drops on that.
Yeah,
one,
I felt
but
that.
that's
I felt
okay.
that. I mean,
Just be aware of
Those are all hard for sure.
And you're thinking, like, you're gonna have a dominant leg.
And it works nicely with, hey man, I don't want any problems.
Mhm.
I don't want any problems. Remember us talking about that? I don't want any
So
problems.
there's a
To
funny.
get him on the ground is I'm going to set up with some strikes. Okay, so I don't want to get into a boxing match with somebody. I don't want to get into a kickboxing match. I just am using these punches to get in for that very first takedown we showed months ago. To get in behind him here, back here. Remember that takedown? It's on the video, and then take it to the ground because I have a better chance of survival on the ground than I do standing. Because standing, a person can get a lucky shot on you.
Clipped.
I mean, it's just this higher risk, and not as many people know the ground. So that's my strategy. Now, where would there be an exception for that? If I saw Pedro or Khalifa, seriously, if I saw somebody with cauliflower ears and we were getting ready to fight, and they kind of had a grappling stance like this, then I would try to stand with them. I mean, I would not win either way. Like, he's going to get me down, he's going to beat me, but I have maybe a chance if they have a grappling stance. But if I see somebody going like this, I'm going to try to get him to the ground, even if that means bull rushing and tackle, because they probably are a trained fighter, trained striker. What is it that the Muay Thai guys do? Don't they do like a little hop thing? What is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Show us what they do.
I mean, nobody's ever gonna do that. But yeah, I mean, they're keeping that front leg light. You know,
Yeah.
They'll keep like this.
Yeah, if you see
So
that,
they can-
you get to the ground no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because that you will
Yeah,
not
'cause they're
stand a
gonna kick
chance.
the shit out of
So a lot of it is the strategy of what the person's doing, you know. And I used to have my very first coach, Tommy James's brother. He would say, I look at my opponent to see what they're doing. He was an MMA fighter too. And he would determine which of these tools he uses by what they're doing. Now, I know that's super advanced. Even back then, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do that. But you can tell a little bit, like if somebody's like, hey, like this, you know, and they're, you know, but if they're doing this, I mean, that's great. Hit them, light them up with a couple of jabs, and then bring them to the ground. To just a jelly punch. It wasn't, and his head went back, and I mean, it almost knocked him out, you know. And so that's the bad thing about this. The only way to really go to the next level is to actually do some sparring. But we really don't have that here. We really would need headgear, and it's more for falling down. Because the first time I ever got knocked out was in somebody's front yard, because we were doing this with friends, and it was getting hotter and hotter, and we were hitting harder and harder and harder, and next thing you know, I woke up. He knocked me out. I was on my back with all my friends around in the front yard,
Yeah.
and you think about your head hitting,
Mhm.
that's more dangerous really than the punch. And so I don't know what to say on that other than if you want more training, you have to find a place where we have a better setup. But I don't think there's a better kind of training than doing some boxing tie kicking and then getting it to the ground. I mean, because that's really the most real world you're ever going to get.
And that's
But
where most fights are gonna go anyway.
yeah, but there's a risk in that, right?
Mhm.
There's a risk in actually training for the real world, and that is there's a more chance of getting hurt. You know. See me? But it's harder for him to if I'm see how I'm here, and it's also harder for him to punch me, right? I'm not going to do this. You know what I mean? I'm going to have my hands up. Yeah, I'm going to have my hands up, and I'm going to try to keep that neck protected and get behind me. Yeah. So, but that's one of our first lessons that we did. So all of this circles back around. You guys want to do some more hits? With him trained, there's nothing I can do with him. I mean, it's over. He's got too much training. But let's say he was just big and he had no training. What would my strategy be with him? My strategy better not be to box him, because look at his arms. His arms are like almost the length of my legs. There's no way I can win in a boxing match with him unless I'm like a high level boxer. Okay. So what I would try to do is I would try to use my legs on his legs. Now he's still got reach on me with his legs, but I'm betting, right? A betting man that the average person doesn't know how to use those legs, right? And so we did 3 kicks, right? We did the push kick here. We did the Muay Thai kick with the power Muay Thai kick around to there. Those are 2. The third one would be the one to the knee. That's 4. Okay. 4. Okay, there's actually another one, and it's a front kick to the inside of his leg. So if he's standing here and I'm like here, I can front kick right into there.
Flip kick.
Yeah, right into the soft tissue. And then also in MMA, they're using a lot of calf kicks now, I've noticed. So they're kicking down here to that calf. You got to be careful there because you can break your foot. Like they're training, like I watch some of those Muay Thai guys and they're rubbing Coke bottles on their shins for that to get those bone spurs. So the calf kick, you got to be careful that you don't hurt yourself. Whereas this kick's a little safer because there's more muscle tissue there. But just think, a really tall guy, you're probably better off, us short guys, just using our legs. Don't even use our arms. And hopefully what we can do is like you guys have played basketball, right? With the head fakes. You're really good with basketball. You get a head fake and you do the fake and your defensive opponent's jumping and then you go underneath and do the layup. Well, it's the same with a fight. Like if I can get him thinking about his legs, then he's not thinking about me rushing in to do a takedown. If I can get him thinking about like a normal sized guy, if I can get him thinking about his face, he's not thinking about his legs. So then I start lighting up his legs. And what I want to do is go head, toe, head, toe, head, toe, to where he's not thinking about the takedown. And that's when I cut in and take him down and get him to the ground, because the ground is safer for everyone. Was it Kevin Randleman? Didn't he get knocked? He knocked out Crow Cop or something.
Mirko Crow Cop.
Yeah, so Crow Cop was like the #1. He was knocking everyone out.
Baddest man alive.
He's from Czechoslovakia.
Other than Fedor.
Other than Fedor, like
Yeah.
he was #1 striker. Well, this guy that didn't know how to strike. I mean, they all know how to strike some, right? But he's known as more of a wrestler.
More of a combat wrestler.
Yeah, ground and pound guy. He knocked out Crow Cop. That's just the danger of being on your feet. Anything can happen no matter what. Whereas if you're on the ground, anything can still happen. But the chances of you knowing those 5 dominant positions, knowing how to get out of those 5 dominant positions, knowing submissions, how many other people in the population know that? How many of your friends know that?
None of my friends.
None of them. So you already have an